Good morning. It is me, Pearl, and this is Tuned in Tarot. And I am here to take a look at the general energetic balance with inside of yourself. Understanding that wherever we find these energies, we can glean things from the people in the world around us because they're reflecting back to us what is inside. And if we want to see changes in the world around us, we have to actively make shifts in our own energy inside of us to be able to see that reflected back. All right, let's just get started. We had even Steven with cards showing today. I'm feeling I'm just going to go with divine masculine because that's what I'm feeling. And not disappointed. All right. These two are dumb. Top of the deck, overall, forefront of the mind for divine masculine is the Ten of Swords, and it is in its reversal. And I think what he wants to do is reverse a painful ending, reverse the separation, the end of separation, bring about this ending. This also could be he's starting the effects of the painful ending that was uh, very debilitating. Those effects are starting to pass away, and he's starting to feel like he can get up again, and he's not pinned to the ground by all of these thoughts and fears and worries that came from that Nine of Swords energy we saw yesterday. And it's just, you know, filling his mind right now that he wants to end this painful separation that has happened. And to support that, the niggling thing in the back of his mind is the Two of Pentacles in reverse. So he's made a choice, he's made a decision. Um, the to step into, I'm drawn to the image of the lemniscate here, which is like that eternal connection between the two twins, the back and forth energy between them. And it's like he's choosing to like move with it or flow with it or dance with it to like step into this next phase, which will be this ending of separation. And he's made this decision, and he's got the Six of Wands energy as the first thing on his mind. And he's very much feeling like he has this potential to be victorious. He has the strength, he has the endurance. He's achieved victory kind of over that Nine of Swords energy, arrived at the Ten of Swords energy, and we're passing out of it now. So we're like really seeing this end coming. And he's feeling really victorious about how he's handled the situation, about the healing that he's had to do inside of himself, about the lessons that he's learned on this twin flame journey. There's the Two of Wands, and we see him trusting in the unknown element that exists on this journey, because the Two of Wands is a card where you're looking out, you've kind of done everything that you could physically do, you've said your prayers, you've asked for something that you want, and you're kind of at this point where you're not exactly sure what's going to unfold. It can be a moment where there are two paths and you don't know which path to take, but it's really more in this context about just not being sure exactly how things are going to play out, but understanding that your victory is over your comfort, over the feeling of stability that you're getting in believing in the journey and believing that the ships are going to come in. Like that Three of Wands energy is going to follow. You're going to see the pieces fall into place. And then the Four of Wands, where you have the sacred union and you've really established that stability. So divine masculine is feeling victorious on this twin flame journey right now because he's really feeling that he's trusting in it and believing in it. And he is being patient. And the next thing on his mind is his King of Wands energy. We're seeing a reversal in it because he is not really able to do the action, make the big communication that he wants to have or make. So, there's definitely a feeling here that he's feeling very passionate. I think he's feeling frustration, um, because he understands his victory is promised, but he's still having to wait for this to happen. So his ability to go in and take the action he wants to take and make the communication that he wants to make, it's still being held up by something that's an outside force, and it's pissing him off. Like he's not happy about this feeling. He wants to be victorious, but he's having to wait, and he doesn't like this feeling, and he's chafing at it. He's feeling anxious because he's just not wanting to lose this opportunity. He's wanting to take these actions for himself that will allow him to really be in his full power. And there's things he has to wait for in order to accomplish this, and so he's just frustrated by it. And he feels this delay in his wish fulfillment, which is this 9 of Cups energy. So he's feeling very much like he's going to get his wish, right? Because when we see the 9 of Cups upright or in its reversal, and it is not left the readings in days for either of them. Like it just keeps coming back on either side. So we understand that these are two aspects of self that are going to get the thing that they want. They're going to get this manifestation. He is frustrated with that King of Wands in reverse by the delay, right? This 9 of Cups is clarifying the victory. So he's wishing for victory on this twin flame journey, and it's delayed. And so he's feeling frustrated by it, and he wants to become unblocked. This 5 of Wands energy. He's also feeling like he's no longer fighting against this aspect. He's not fighting against the twin aspect where it's like, okay, I know who my twin is. I know that this is what this is. I understand that that doesn't necessarily mean that I have to be with that twin, because really the twin is here to just help me grow and expand and change and become the best version of myself. So it doesn't mean I have to be physically in union with this twin. I'm in union already. This is my soul. This is another part of my soul walking around here on the earth. And that really has to be what the feeling is like about your twin. It really has to be like, this is myself. I can't, how am I not myself? Right? Like, oh, remember I Heart Huckabees? That movie is a mind fuck. So he's not fighting against these aspects. He's understanding, okay, this is my twin. I understand that. He's not fighting directly with divine feminine anymore either, where they're in this standoff, and he's unblocking so that he can continue along the journey and be able to achieve his destiny, which is the next card that comes up, this Wheel of Fortune. But it's reversed because he's feeling like he doesn't have control over his destiny, and this is not an emperor who likes to surrender control. He does not. So he doesn't like this. And this is what he's thinking about. He's like, I don't like this. I want to be able to do what it is that I do. Like this bond that I have with this divine feminine. Yeah, she's my soul. Okay. But our 3D relationship is so tentative because of all the ways that we trigger each other, that holding on to this twin flame journey, holding on to the promise of victory on this twin flame journey is so difficult, because like the least little thing could throw this energy off and I could lose this again, right? This is what he's thinking about. He wants to master his fortune. All right, top of the deck for his heart space is the Emperor. And we're using the vice versa deck, so we get to see the back of the throne. Normally, we're looking at this guy. He's got the world in his hands. Everything he touches turns to gold. He's protected. Rigid, dictatorial, and controlling would be his shadow traits. But he's a powerful and upright emperor. Like he does what he should do. But what we're looking at is very interesting. First of all, we're seeing that he has the power of the sun, which is this is like the sun god energy. So we're seeing the divine masculine. So this is the divine masculine. We're seeing that we can't get to him too, right? There's a block there. And there's a literal block here. And then there's this eternal fire that's burning. It's a wand, actually, a torch. So it's like the torch that's burning for someone that he loves. There's also the moon on either side of the symbol that the hanged man forms when he's in reverse. So we have the goddess energy. And these pieces of the moon here are pushed apart. And between, we've got the flame and this solid, stable energy. So it's like he's only complete when both sides are honored. When the moon and the sun are together, that's the only way that this divine masculine is fully complete. He's trusting in the eternal flame in regards to this journey. We see that Two of Wands, which is upright. So there's that trusting feeling. And he really wants to embody this emperor energy. But he wants to turn his back on the dictatorial control and the rigidity. He's understanding that him fighting against his destiny has caused a lot of ripple effects that have made it very difficult for the two of these aspects of self to come together. The niggling feeling in his heart space is the upright Three of Pentacles. Yesterday, we saw the Three of Pentacles in a reversal in the headspace, just kind of being like not wanting to collaborate, not being able to collaborate yet, being at a point where he was feeling like he's kind of like done doing the work. There's a lot of work to do. And it was more about, because it was in the headspace, it was more about actual work that needs to be done to be able to move forward towards divine feminine with his offer, etc. So now we have him in this with this niggling feeling that he is working on that block, right? We see it. He's needing to unblock in the twin flame journey. He's worked on it. It's here. And he's done this work on himself. He's understanding this block, this whole throne here, that he's got to unblock himself in order to have access to divine feminine. He's got to unblock and allow divine feminine to integrate inside of himself. The first thing on his mind is this 10 of Pentacles energy. This is the material fulfillment of his dreams, right? His union with divine feminine, his ability to become a patriarch. This is about loyalty and companionship. It's in a reversal because it's not quite here yet. This is what he wants to be victorious over. He wants to have victory in achieving this material manifestation. He's trying to release the attachment to the physical manifestation while still bringing it to him. So we've got the two engines happening. We've got, I'm going to be victorious with, I'm afraid I can't have what it is that I want, right? I'm going to be able to have success on this journey and come into union and have my family and have everything that I want. Maybe, I don't know if I will though, actually, right? So head and heart are kind of pulling at each other right now. He really is longing for this companionship and this loyalty. He's longing to be seen as this patriarch, this regal divine masculine energy that has the power to unite the two together. So that's what he's wanting to achieve victory over. The elusiveness of this happiness, this material world happiness he longs to have. And he's also maybe feeling like he had a lot. He had a lot financially and it's gone. And he's trying to be victorious over this attachment where he can still feel good enough, even though he's lost has experienced a financial loss. Because the next card that comes up is this Page of Pentacles. So It's the vice versa deck again. We're seeing him bringing this offer, and he's had to face all of these obstacles. And it's not the offer that he wanted to bring. It is not this 10 of Pentacles. This is what he wants to be holding, this. And he's not holding this. He's got a much smaller material world offer than he really wants to have at this point in his life, at this point where he's trying to come and make this offer to divine feminine. But there's a beautiful thing happening in his heart space, because even though he's feeling like he has all these obstacles to overcome, and he's had to overcome this obstacle itself, turning his back on the feeling that he's not good enough, that he doesn't have masculine worth energy, that he's not sufficient. So he's been doing that work, and that's clarifying that Two of Wands, that the obstacles that he's learned on this journey, this has been it. How to view himself as worthy despite this material world not lining up with what he really wants to be able to provide. And then this is what we're seeing him. Oh my gosh, I can't pick the card up. Okay, there we go. King of Wands in reverse is being clarified by the Devil in reverse. So this is so powerful. It's also the back of the card. When we just saw this a few days ago, we realized, oh, wow, like inside of this block with this protection is this face. Like there's a person trapped in here. And that's what these two lovers are chained to. They're chained to this protection that the divine masculine has enacted over himself. And he wants to release this devil energy. He wants to release this attachment, this codependency, and he wants to come out of this protective energy, because it causes his lack of action, because of his protecting himself, causes him to prevent himself from getting his wish, which is to come into union with divine feminine. And there she is in her Queen of Swords energy. He realizes, as I protect myself, as I guard myself from being vulnerable with her, and, just really being honest about who I am and what I have and what I don't have, every time I protect myself and guard myself and prevent myself from taking action towards her because of my fears that I can't be this man of action because I'm not good enough. Every time I do that, I risk putting divine feminine in the same energy where she's protecting herself from me and putting up this sword and blocking me because she she gets so frustrated with my energy towards myself and my inability to take action towards her. So he's seeing how this cycle of codependency, this like obsession, infatuation, fear, protection, and the ego, which is, there's anything wrong with the King of Wands, it's that he's very much in his ego, like, right? We've got a Leo energy here. So egotistical as fuck. So egotistical, right? So he needs to stop focusing on the desires to please this ego, because the ego is the thing that's like, oh, you don't have enough, bro. Like, you should have an empire, and all you have is this dinky little Ace of Pentacles, right? This page is carrying the Ace of Pentacles, which is the offer. Like, it doesn't have to be more than one. So divine masculine is learning this lesson, and he's understanding that on the twin flame journey, this is what he's had to learn, to let go of this ego. This ego is what protects him from his desire, because his ego causes divine feminine to protect herself. And he's done. He's over it. He's done with that energy. And here he is as the Knight of Swords, galloping off with the truth, with a strategy, with a plan, ready, free. There's birds here, free to be able to bring the truth to divine feminine and unblock this part of himself that has restricted him from her. And he's blamed it on a lot of things. He's been like, well, there's this and there's this material world thing and there's these real world dangers and there's, all, sure, true, yes, exactly. But all of those things have come from this. They've come from the ego. They've come from the construction of an inauthentic self based on the ego. They've come from surface level fixations. They've come from an inability to really be comfortable going within and being integrated with that feminine energy. It's come from being in this divine masculine or nothing energy, controlling, rigid, dictatorial, passionate, but angry. So he's freeing himself from these bonds. He's cutting away these things that have blocked him, and he's overfeeling, but it's the kind of overfeeling we're okay with here on Tutored Tarot. Because this destiny that he really wants control over, and he understands he doesn't, and he has to surrender to it, this big change. This is being clarified by happiness and the Three of Cups. So divine feminine is back, and she's looking joyful, and she's all on her own here. This isn't third party energy. This is the divine masculine that gets to celebrate with his divine feminine to actually come into union and be happy and celebrate. And what we're seeing about his happiness from the vice versa deck is it's 22 right now minutes we've been on. Here we have the sun shining. We see this kind of normal OG Smith Waite imagery. But when we look at it from this side, we're seeing that this inner child has been trapped behind this wall with all these obstacles here on the other side of it, and has kind of stayed here in its happy place. But it's not as warm and bright and filled with light as the other side, right? So there's this sanctuary that divine masculine has built for himself. And he's ready now. He's ready to be able to see what's on the other side of the wall, to stop being afraid of the obstacles that he can see, and to be able to come towards divine feminine and be with her alone and celebrate. That is what he wants to master, his happiness. And that is why he wants to swiftly take this action in this Knight of Swords energy. And he feels this freedom now to be able to do this. Okay, let's look at divine feminine. All right, divine feminine. Top of the deck, overall headspace for you. The Wheel of Fortune in reverse. Union right out the gate. So you both feel you are at the mercy of your destiny at the moment. And it is uncomfortable because you know that this change is coming, but it's not quite here yet. You're resisting the change. You think you're not, but you are. You think you're not, but you are. You are resisting this change. You are wanting to control it. You are not wanting to let the divine control the wheel because you're not fully trusting yet, but you're trying to. You're trying to. You also don't want this fate. You kind of found out about the twin flame journey or whatever, manifestation journey, whatever you want to call this, balancing this energy in order to be able to come into alignment with what it is that you desire journey. You found out about it, and now you're like, wow, I'm responsible for everything that happens to me. I do not like that. I also, if I want things I want, then I have to stop wanting them. Confusing. I don't want to have this constant telepathic connection with a specific person who's in a state where they can't come towards me, so I want to be free for other people, but I can't. No, not interested. So you're fighting against your fate a little bit. You ended up here, you're in this collective, you're listening to these messages, and you're very tuned in, and you're like, whoa, shit, this is true for me. And I don't want it to be, maybe. Like, I'm good on it. Can I just have a normal life? I had a conversation with one of my friends last night. Can I just have a normal life? And I'm like, you don't even want that. No, you don't. In this collective, we say that's what we want, but we don't. We'd have it if we wanted it, because we can manifest whatever we want. So you're fighting. You're fighting against your fate. Stop doing that. Okay, the niggling thing in the back of your mind is the Five of Cups, but it's in reverse. So you've been very sad. You've had a lot of sadness. You've been focused on the lack. You've been focused on the loss. You've been focused on the absence, but no more. You're starting to pull out of that. You're starting to do things to help yourself. You're starting to like take the time to care for yourself in different ways. You're starting to, value your alone time. You're starting to understand how important it is to have these things for yourself, and you're taking advantage of every opportunity you have to really shower upon yourself the kind of energy that you wish you got from others. So, hang on a second. I think this is an important message I just got for later. Okay, so we might have a delay today with Grace Strega because we're supposed to have a live 12 o'clock session, but she's having technical difficulties. So I'll keep you posted on that. Okay, sorry. Back to the reading. You've been sad, but you're not sad anymore. You're trying very hard to be optimistic. This challenging time of changes that you're resisting, you're trying to be optimistic about it. You're trying to not focus on the things you've lost and focus instead on the potential for union you have within yourself. You're really you're giving it your best. You're like, okay, I'm not going to be sad that I thought I was ready, but I wasn't ready. And I'm not going to be sad that like this person I thought was this person isn't this person. Whatever it is that's bothering you at this point in time, you have this determination to try to feel better and be optimistic and not be so pessimistic about your fate and your destiny, and just kind of start to accept like, okay, maybe I don't know what's good for me. Maybe I don't know, and maybe I should just surrender and just be optimistic that this higher power I'm starting to accept has a force in my life really does have my best interests at heart. And so you're in the energy of transformation. Here is the death card. It is literally haunting me. I even had conversations about death last night, like the presence of death, like the Grim Reaper. So there's transformation happening at a deep, deep level. And you know that. You can feel it in every particle of your being. You understand that the way you handle things now is nothing like how you handled things a few years back at all, even close. You're laughing right now thinking about your pre-COVID naivete. You're like, yep, you're definitely changed. You've definitely been experiencing transformation. There's been a death that has been experienced as well. And it's been the death of this Four of Wands energy, this sacred union. And it's been the ideas you have about it. It's not that there's been an ending to this relationship, although there could have been. There could have been an ending to an actual relationship, but it's more for, in a general sense, that there has been a death to your ideas and your fantasies in regards to this Four of Wands energy, about what it means to have a stable foundation. You're starting to learn that the stable foundation has to be there within yourself in order for you to see it outside of yourself. So the idea that someone else could bring you this stability, this foundation, this happiness, this reason to celebrate, that's the thing that is ending. That's the thing that is changing. And it might, like I said, it could be there's an actual relationship that is ending. But the lesson that you're getting is that that relationship wasn't if I make my happiness here on the material world, then when I lose it, my happiness is gone. That's not true happiness. That's not. If you can lose it, if it can be taken from you, then it's happiness that someone else is giving you. But there has to be something that's inside of yourself, and you're starting to really acknowledge that and transform this energy. You could be feeling a bit unstable at this time in regards to your love life too, because you've experienced this ending. So you might be feeling this instability, like not knowing what's going to happen going forward, not knowing if you're going to be ready for something new, not knowing if something new is coming at all. But this Two of Swords energy that you were in before, this standstill where you didn't want to make a choice, this idea that, like, if you made this choice, it was bad. And if you made that choice, it was bad. So you're just not going to do anything at all. Instead, you're just going to protect yourself and wait and see. That's over. The choice has been made. You're no longer going to be in the standstill. You've made some kind of a decision. You've made a choice. It could have been to walk away from the Four of Wands that you had envisioned. It could be that you no longer feel that you that that maybe the standstill itself was sort of an illusion, that you had to choose this or that wasn't even necessarily true. But you have made some kind of choice or understood that you have options. And then we have the Ace of Pentacles. There's a lot of reversals today for both of you. You all are in a lot of energy where you're shifting, changing, moving, transforming. This is what the Death card is being clarified by. So I have here, and that was why my association with that Four of Wands in reverse and the Ace of Pentacles in reverse, the idea that your material 3D fantasy of what the material offer was going to be like, you've had to let that die. You're realizing that the sacred union and the real world offer are not what you thought. And your ideas about them have to pass away. You have to transform them because those were limiting beliefs. The things you thought about marriage and sacred union and tradition and foundation, the things you thought about what a marriage offer looks like, what a person who is a real world partner should look like, who your twin is, the material attachments, those things. Those are the things that have been transforming. And it's really making you very powerful because you're seeing very clearly in this Queen of Swords energy. And here you are in union with Divine Masculine who sees you this way. You are using your intellect, you're being, your intelligence, and you're really having a lot of clarity in your headspace about what needs to change. Right? We see the Wheel of Fortune in reverse, which is you resisting change, resisting your fate. But your head is very clear that there has to be a change. You're resisting it, but the change is that you have to transform your ideas about your Four of Wands and your Ace of Pentacles and what those things constitute. You can't be in the standstill anymore where you're between a rock and a hard place. You're choosing to really take a hard look at the fantasies you have around these things that you desire. I just saw 33 on the clock. So that's where you are at. You're very much in this Queen of Swords energy. You're not in the shadow traits. I don't see you as blocking. I don't see you as necessarily super easy to communicate with per se, but I don't see you as blocking energy. You are being protective of yourself. You're protecting yourself because you want to figure out how to achieve this Four of Wands, this sacred union. So you are being protective. And because you are being protective, there is an element here where we've got a Divine Masculine out in the cold. There is this lack energy. Now, normally this is you out in the cold, but right now I don't have that feeling. Queen of Swords is keeping Divine Masculine out in the cold right now. She's not letting him in fully. She's in her protective energy because she's like, hey, I got to reevaluate my ideas about what's going to happen between us. Because I can tell you right now, it's nothing like I thought or planned. So I need to reevaluate, like, whether or not this is something I want to choose. So she's kind of keeping him out a little bit. She's created her own space, and she's in her head, she's not being very welcoming. It's a little cold. She's a little icy. And it's protective. She has to be safe. She doesn't want anything. She doesn't want to experience this lack herself again. She doesn't want to experience feeling outside in the cold in terms of this divine masculine. So she's being very careful. She's being very protective against this energy because she's afraid. She's afraid of abandonment. Yikes. Okay, top of the deck. Overall heart space for divine feminine. 10 of Cups. Spiritual fulfillment, happiness, family, everything. All there. Filled. Her heart is filled with this. This is what she wants. She's really yearning for this to be here in the material. But she's got the spiritual fulfillment. She does feel the love. She feels the love from this divine masculine. She feels it very strongly. She feels that coming into union in herself is the spiritual fulfillment, and that it is her destiny as well, even if it's delayed. The niggling feeling is the Hanged Man in reverse. When the Hanged Man is in reverse, it looks like this crow is dancing, right? It looks like he's about to take off and fly. And having been in this reverse position and having gone into this pause and taken this time to consider and gain perspective, that has allowed divine feminine to really see and feel how this 10 of Cups is here. It's right here inside of her. This niggling feeling that it's time now to come out of that pause and to start taking action and to start working. That 3 of Pentacles that divine masculine is in union with in his heart space, this is working. Now, divine feminine wants to work together. Divine masculine is working on his own block. Divine feminine is ready to work together and collaborate and transform. She wants to be able to work on what has died and this rebirthing of this connection, and really collaborate and have what has died become transformed and built up again. Here is this 8 of Swords. We can't shake it. Divine feminine still here today. And it is clarifying our 4 of Wands in reverse. Hi, AJ. This 8 of Swords, this self-protection, and it's not a coincidence that it's right underneath our Queen of Swords here. And we just talked about how in order to kind of protect herself from her fear of abandonment, she's keeping this divine masculine out in the cold. I feel like she's keeping him at arm's reach. It's not like she's completely cut him off or blocked him, although there might be situations where this is true. But in general, it's more of an energy of like, okay, I mean, I hear you, I see you, I can hear your messages, but you can't come in until I really see a change. And I haven't seen it yet. Right? My Wheel of Fortune is still in reverse. I haven't really seen this change yet, divine masculine. You're still interacting with me in the same way. So her heart space is warning her that this destabilization of the 4 of Wands, this either it's not here yet, it's coming, it's down the pipeline, or it's gone, it died, I lost the possibility for it, or I don't know exactly what my 4 of Wands constitutes. Whatever that card, wherever you're falling in that general energy of that 4 of Wands in reverse, you're protecting yourself from the feelings in regards to it. You're being very careful right now, and you're doing some things that are trying to protect you from feeling any of the pain associated with either the loss or your concerns or worries about or your fears. And so you are in a protective energy, and you got to be careful there. First of all, it's an illusion. The prison is an illusion, right? It's your own thoughts that are making you feel trapped. So it's your own thoughts about the delay or the possibility or the potential of this Four of Wands. You're blind to the possibility that if you wanted to leave this prison, all you would have to do is simply allow the bonds to fall away from you and step right outside. Just slip right past those swords. You can pull them out yourself. You can squeeze through. You can get by. They are not a real prison. They're an illusion. So your heart is just warning you that it's your own fears and protection that are blocking this Four of Wands energy. And that is what must transform. You have to work on this. You have to work on these fears that you have in regards to losing this relationship. And here's the Lover's card, our theme for this month for Tuned In Tarot, which get your ideas in for what songs constitute or embody the Lover's card when you see that story pop up on my Instagram account, and you can win a free reading. The Lovers, clarifying the standstill in reverse, the Two of Swords in reverse. If she wants the Lovers, she must come out of that place of defensiveness, right? She must release defensiveness and protection. You can't have this if you don't take a risk. But her heart is ready for it. She's ready. There's that she's ready to be optimistic. There's that Five of Cups in reverse, both head and heart in union. She is fully ready to believe in the potential of this Ace of Pentacles. She's not focused anymore on the sadness she feels that she lost the material manifestation that she thought she was going to get. She didn't get that. She didn't get anything like that. But she realizes that that was something that was built up out of fantasy. It wasn't real. It was an illusion. It was not at all how real people behave. And it's okay. She had no experience outside of what she saw on the TV or modeled behavior she had growing up. That's it. So there's nothing wrong with having to relinquish something that was a fantasy when you had never learned what a real thing would be. So she's ready to be optimistic about the Lovers. She's believing in this potential she has because she's unblocking. There's that freaking union with divine masculine. Because she's unblocking this energy. She's no longer stuck because she sees so clearly her own potential to protect herself from what it is that she wants. Can I make that up? I can't. She wants the Four of Wands. She protects herself from it. She sees clearly that she's doing that, which is allowing her to unblock this energy and achieve her salvation. There's judgment over this lack. Judgment is the Death card and the Justice card all together, right? Because it's the transformation, it's dying, appearing for Judgment Day, balancing the scales with justice, apology, having salvation, and being reborn. All in one. It's about vulnerability because you were very vulnerable on that day. This Five of Pentacles energy, she wants to transform that and achieve salvation and no longer be in a place where she keeps divine masculine out because she's afraid he will leave her. And so she tries to control. And they are both doing this. Both of y'all are doing this. Okay. Let's go look at the oracles. It's 44 now looking at the clock, which means every 11 minutes I have looked at that timer on cue. That's nutty. I don't understand. I don't look at it when it's other numbers. What the hell? Okay. Divine masculine, you are in the light attributes of the networker, which enhances unity through the sharing of information and engenders social awareness and empathy. And here's what I'm seeing. These are letters, these are messages. So this message is right now you are enhancing the potential for this union between the two of you by sharing information with divine feminine. And you are engendering her sympathy and her empathy by the messages that you are sending. In other words, you are sending her messages right now in whatever way that you can, whether direct or indirect. And in these communications you are making with her, she is feeling empathy for you. She's like, okay, I understand how you feel. I do. So you are being successful in this. And the more you continue to send information and the more direct this information becomes, the more awareness and empathy you're going to engender. So continue. You're in the light attributes of the servant, which is a delight in serving others with a free and loving heart. So right now you just want to make it up to divine feminine. You just want to make it, you just want to do nice things for her. You want to make it up to her because you know that you have blocked yourself in this unworthiness. You have created these obstacles to validate this belief that you don't have enough to offer her. And so you want to make it up to her. And you want to do that without needing it to be material as well. You are no longer using the lack of money as an excuse not to move forward, right? This is literally this card. You are no longer using a lack of money. You are releasing the ego's desire for you to have that 10 of Pentacles in order for you to move towards this divine feminine. That's the lesson that you are learning on this twin flame journey. You are in the light. You are really doing it. You are really out here, though. St. Hildegard von Bingen is here to tell you to believe. Just believe, divine masculine. It's not that hard. Pray to St. Hildegard for help. She's an amazing saint, and she will help you with belief. I am standing on the leading edge of thought, just as all of your experiences from the time of your birth into your physical body until now have culminated into who you now are. All that has ever been experienced by all that is has culminated into all that is now being experienced in the physical life experience on planet Earth. So that's a big circle. Just as all of your experiences have culminated into who you are, all that has ever been experienced by all that is has culminated into all that is now. That makes my head want to explode. You are standing on this leading edge of thought. You are a creation and a creator and a co-creator. A personal issue reaches resolution, Cancer. So if there's something going on for you right now in the home, something in your home life that has been an obstacle or that has caused an issue or that has tied up finances or something like that, that is going to be resolved. It is reaching its resolution right now. Mintaken, longing for home, belonging, and the original light workers. You have this feeling a lot, divine masculine. The longing for home. And I think there's a part of you that kind of thought once you were with divine feminine, that longing for home feeling might dissipate. But really, all that will happen is that you'll share that longing for home with divine feminine because you both are light workers and your home isn't here. So your work, like, it's like you're on a mission, right? You're missionaries. You're here to do this work for all that is. And so that longing is, it's always going to be a part of you, but you are coming home to a certain extent. When you come together, you will share that longing, and having a shared longing with someone makes you feel seen and understood, and it's less lonely, and you'll have much more of a sense of belonging when you are together. Wolf spirit, turn knowledge into wisdom. Wolf spirit leads you deep into the enchanted forest that holds the secrets of your life. Can you sense her beckoning you to follow, asking you to take all you have learned and all you are learning and make it yours? Can you integrate it all into your body, mind, and spirit? Whatever lessons you learned along the way, do not leave them unexamined. Be loyal to your dreams, to your soul, and to turning knowledge into wisdom and experience into magic. You are the one you have been waiting for. Be still and know that the sound of your heart beats in harmony with the whole world. The appearance of wolf spirit is an auspicious omen that says you are truly in alignment with your destiny. Love that from Colette Baron Reed's The Spirit Animal Oracle deck. Okay. Divine Feminine. Oh, where are you? It would seem that you all also got pretty reasonable amounts of oracles. Divine Feminine, you only got one each, so you must be doing good. You are in the light attributes of the seeker, which is a thirst for wisdom and truth wherever they are. And you've left behind any inability to commit to your path. You are actually committed on this path of a seeker. You're committed and thirsty for wisdom and truth wherever they are, even if it leads you away from what you originally thought. You're just committed to seeking truth. St. Padre Pio is here again with healing. So he's helping you do this healing that you need to do on these abandonment issues that are still plaguing you. You still have some healing to do, and Padre Pio is here to support you. You can ask for support from these saints. When you see these saints come up, these deities, you can ask them for their support. These are aspects of the divine that have been embodied in certain vessels during certain time with experiences that you can relate to. And you're meant to have relationships with them. They are expanders for you, expanding your ability to love and do the things that you're called here to do. We are all co-creators within a diverse universe. Every physical being on your planet is your partner in co-creation. And if you would accept that and appreciate the diversity of beliefs and desires, all of you would have more expansive, satisfying, and fulfilling experiences. So you are co-creating. You are not creating this alone. Divine Masculine is part of this creation. He's part of this co-creation process. Every physical being on your planet is your partner in co-creation, including Divine Masculine. And if you would accept that and appreciate the diversity of his beliefs and desires, you would both have a more expansive, satisfying, and fulfilling experience. That is how I would modify that card for this reading. Adjustments are required, Divine Feminine. We see them. We see them. You have to be careful of protecting yourself from this Divine Masculine. Be careful. You're not why are you protecting yourself from love? Why are you doing that? And remember, Divine Masculine, this is the Divine Feminine inside of you. So you're doing the same thing. You're protecting yourself from her love. Adjustments are required. Share your voice. Come out of the cave, persecution, and expression. Now, Divine Masculine gets this card a lot, but you got it today, Divine Feminine. You need to share your voice. You need to come out of the cave. You need to express yourself. How have you been dimming that light? Have you been hiding yourself in some way? Have you been afraid to fully express to Divine Masculine because you're not sure if he can hear you? I know with my Divine Masculine, I only have like one or two ways of communication, and I'm sort of terrified of both of them. And I just kind of like send veiled messages myself and then complain about Divine Masculine doing it, but realizing that I'm doing it because I'm afraid, what if I'm wrong? And like this, and he doesn't even read these or look at these, and it's just, and I'm just nuts. And like, so I can't really be truthful or honest in this way of communication. And then I'm always like, why can't you just be truthful or honest with me? And I'm like, wait, no, you can't do it either. Like, you protect yourself in your artistry. You protect yourself in the mask you're wearing. You protect yourself. You're not fully sharing your voice. You're only sharing it enough that your ego doesn't get like, obliterated by the potential of being truly vulnerable. Wow. Dead from my own reading. Sorry, you'll have to go to another reading. I can't finish because I'm realizing that this is true and I just want to die. I want to transform that. My own fears, my own lack of action because of my fears that are still lingering. I can see them so clearly. So you have to take stock because somehow you are not fully expressing. Somehow you are afraid of persecution, and so you are not coming out of your cave. You're staying there. You're complaining that no one's coming to visit you in your cave, but you're in there deep. You're in there. All right, hawk spirit. Let spirit be your guide. Flying high above the landscape, the hawk sees both the big picture and the small details, observes the rain and the pond as well as the cloud, and doesn't miss anything. When hawk spirit arrives, you are called to pay close attention to messages from spirit that can appear anywhere in any form. Listen to your intuition and keep your eyes open for synchronicities, the meaningful coincidences. Hawk Spirit asks you not to dismiss the signs that Spirit is sending to guide you. Lately, have you been hearing the same word or song or coming across the same symbol here, there, and in the strangest places? Perhaps you hear a song on the radio with just the right lyric pertaining to your query, or you begin to notice uncanny billboards, license plates, or other places where repetitive numbers or words show up for you to notice. Pay attention to the animals that appear for you and connect with their symbolism. Spirit wants to communicate and reaches out again and again. And when Hawk Spirit appears, it is a sign to listen. Speaking of signs and messages and lyrics, today's songs, of course, are over on Instagram. If you follow me there in my stories every morning before I go live, I post a time lapse of the shuffle with the songs that played during that morning's shuffle. And the songs that played during this morning's shuffle were stupid. The first song was Summertime by Orville Peck, and the second song was True Love Will Find You in the End, originally written by Daniel Johnston, as performed by Beck on my 14,000 songs in my library. Those were the two songs that came up today. They're both significant to me in ways I can't even explain to you. But the lyrics are very significant, so you should go look at those songs and check them out for sure. Especially, both of them, but True Love Will Find You in the End is like, don't be sad, I know you will, and don't give up until true love will find you in the end. So, yeah, pay attention to messages, signs, symbols, and come out of the cave and don't be afraid. Let spirit be your guide at this point. Okay. Bottom of the deck for the divine couple. My life is stupid. It's stupid. All right. Y'all are both in the shadow attributes of victim energy right now, and I can feel it pretty freaking strongly from you both. The shadow attributes are playing the victim for positive feedback in the form of pity and inability to maintain personal boundaries. So you're not doing super great on the healthy boundaries thingy, and you are a little bit kind of wallowing in like, oh, my divine masculine did this to me, or my divine feminine did this to me. You need to move into the light attributes, which prevents you from letting yourself be victimized or victimizing others. Remember, can your divine masculine victimize you? Really? Like, in Catholicism, in possession, when they talk about possession, you can only be possessed by a demon if you choose to be. There has to be a moment where you invite the entity and you choose to allow it to be there. And the victim thing, obviously people get victimized. I don't want to say that people don't get victimized by people. They do. But it's what you do after this happens where you can continue to live in the experience and the memories and the trauma that you experienced. You can continue to stay here. And it is very difficult to leave once you've become the victim of something. It is very difficult to leave that headspace. But you can stay here and wallow and try to get pity. And that gives you some relief. It does. Or you can come out. You can choose to think, actually, this thing happened to me. And I choose to never be in a situation where this happens again. But instead of protecting myself from situations where it can happen again, I'm going to dig out what's inside of me that has now been shifted my worthiness. I'm going to recreate, reinvent, transform so that my worthiness will be such that no one will ever victimize me again. And I'm going to do this in a positive way. It's also about the inability to maintain personal boundaries. Like, you might be telling your story a little too much to people that, first of all, aren't going to help you because they're just going to reflect back your energy. You need to go within and figure out why it is that you're letting yourself to continue to be victimized by this trauma that has happened, and come into the light so that you're no longer at the mercy of those fears and anxieties that are putting you into these protective modes. Saint Raphael is here again. This is 2 days in a row, and he's my big guy. Like, I'm working on this planet for this. Like, he recruited me, so here he is. This is Saint Raphael. And this is the healthful eating card, and it was here yesterday with emphasis. So there's something about taking care of yourself, taking care of your health, maintaining your health, doing things that are intuitive. If you're having issues with food or anything like that, it's something I struggle with, so I fully understand. And you can always send me questions and feelings and comments, anything, to tunedintarot@gmail.com. So I've gone through these struggles, and I totally feel you on that. But if you're having food struggles, anything like that, there is a call for me right now to become very intuitive in all ways in my life. And intuitive eating is something that has kind of surfaced for me, and I'm learning about it, and I'm starting to work with clients about intuitive eating. So I'm feeling this message is coming up again, that you need to be intuitive about your own health. Stop seeking information externally. Remember that science is inherently biased, right? Science only asks questions that mainstream is asking. It's not asking unique new questions about different perspectives. It's asking questions from the perspective of the status quo, of the reality that has already been determined, the truths that have already been determined by someone else. So because those questions are inherently biased, and they can be biased financially too, because it's by the companies that want to sell these things, or it can just be generally biased because it's being asked by people who accept truths about society. So the questions are inherently biased, okay? So you can't really seek the truth outside of yourself. Your own body knows what it needs, wants, can handle. There's a communication system going on all the time. You eat something, you feel good. You eat something, you don't. Boom. There you go. There's your information about it. It's there. It's there. There are subtle things, but to me, disease is really about the mind. And so if you want to be healthy, you need to tune in to your heart space and ask your physical body what it needs. It will tell you. I don't know why we achieved this state in our society. Actually, I do. It's because we suppress the divine feminine. But at some point, we decided collectively that you don't know, and that someone else smarter outside of yourself will know better for you. And I don't think that's entirely true. I think you have the potential to know by going within and asking yourself. I will reach for the best feeling thought I have access to. This is here again. Always be reaching for the feeling of relief that comes when you release a more resistant thought and replace it with a more allowing, better feeling thought. The stream of well-being is always flowing through you, and the more you allow it, the better you feel, and the more you resist it, the worse you feel. It is so simple, and yet I know when you see this card or you hear this message, you're like, okay, yeah, but how? Because I feel like shit right now. So how do I choose a better feeling thought? Well, probably if you're in that mood, it'll be a little bit harder. I'm not going to lie. If you're real deep in, it will be a little bit more difficult to reach. But in that stream of resistant thought that you're giving me, which is like, well, that's not going to work for me. I don't know how that works for her. It's not going to work for me. Whatever. somewhere in there, when you get a moment, when you take a breath, when something distracts you, a hummingbird flies to the window and you're like, oh, or your dog does something silly and you laugh for a second, somewhere in there, reach for a thought that's like, I mean, maybe it could work. Could I guess? That's all it takes. It just takes a little tiny reach, just the tiniest reach for something that feels just a little less resistant. Instead of being like, oh, this will never work, just think, I mean, I guess it could. It could work. I mean, what if it did? Right? Balance spirituality and practicality. You come here, you get the messages, you're like, okay, I'm spiritually tuned, and then you don't do anything. And there's no shade because I'm the same. I'm like, I am so tuned in. And then I go like completely ignore everything that I've written down that I want to do for myself for the day. Because this healing journey isn't linear. That's why there's a daily reading. That's why even on Sundays when I don't have to read because I'm reading again at noon in 3 hours, I read anyway because every day is new. Every day requires a commitment. Like, it's just today. And I definitely need to balance my own spirituality, which is deep and wide, with practicality. So do that. Take these spiritual things, bask in them, let them renew you, let them fill you with excitement, let them help you figure out how you're going to go forward in the world, and then write some shit down on paper for the little steps you're going to take. And they don't have to be massive. They don't. They do not. They can be very small, little modest steps, because each little step you take is going to help you get into the better feeling place. And you're going to take bigger and bigger and bigger and bigger steps. And eventually you're going to be like, wow, shit, I finished this. I did the thing I wanted. I have what I wanted. I did it. But you're not going to get there if you stay in this amorphous, escaped spiritual place where all that you're thinking about is just like, it's going to be so great. Like, yeah, when you do something, it will. Mirror. Who or what is triggering you? Remember that when someone is triggering you, they are showing you exactly where your wounds are. It's the greatest thing ever. It's like getting an x-ray for your head. You're like, ugh, I can't stand this person. Take a step back and ask yourself, what can't I stand? What are they doing that's bothering me? And then ask yourself, wait, am I afraid that I'm doing this to someone? Am I doing this to someone? Have I done this to someone before? Why is it bothering me so much that this person is like this? Ask yourself those questions, especially about your divine masculine. If you're here because you're interested in the twin flame journey and you're like, my twin, my twin, my twin, it's your twin. Newsflash. Why are they triggering you? Because you see yourself. And it's very hard to accept yourself. All right, it is time to collaborate. Ant Spirit is here. And the oracle message is, when Ant Spirit comes to visit, it's to celebrate the benefits of working in a partnership. And this is the bottom of the deck for the union. Working in a partnership with others as part of a community or tribe. Spirit reminds you that to build your dream, you need to work with others. You need to work together. Accept help and trust in the most important partnership, the one you have with Spirit. Your intentions will come to fruition if you remain awake and focused on co-creating your reality with others and with Spirit. Remember that the world around you can easily seduce you if you don't have some sort of practice or discipline like meditation to keep you on track as you build the life you desire. Connecting with others and having accountability partners can be very helpful, as it's unlikely that everyone will fall asleep at the same time. The other message Ant Spirit holds is that you are now at an auspicious time to ask for help and receive it, whether you need help assembling a team, finding a new tribe, or requesting assistance from others who are there for you. Everything is working to support you right now. There's the Three of Pentacles, basically, again. again. And look, it has 3 puzzle pieces falling into place after hard work. All right, we're about to close the reading with our goddess practice. This is our goddess today, Aphrodite. She's a beauty. And our goddess practice that we've been doing is where we put 2 hands on our heart sometime at some point during this day and give ourselves 15 minutes with the mantra, "My heart is the heart of the goddess." You can use any divine feminine energy in this practice when you visualize. It is just about balancing divine feminine energy. It is meant for all genders to practice because divine feminine energy has been oppressed. So all genders have an imbalance inside of themselves, and it requires a balancing of that divine feminine. You can focus on this energy, if you are so inclined, of Aphrodite. She is most often described as radiant and shining. When Aphrodite is present, the whole world acquires a soft golden glow. Foam born, she is associated with the creative, life giving sea and represents a sense of freshness, renewal, and hope. A descendant of the prehistoric water bird goddesses of old Europe, she is often accompanied by birds. The goddess of both spiritual and passionate love, Aphrodite joins us to one another. She is feminine being in all her fullness, and her realm is that of relationship and feeling. Aphrodite demands maturity if we are to be in a true relationship. When we embrace mature love, Aphrodite is there to bless us. All right, Aphrodite. That is all. This is your reading for today. I hope that it was helpful, Divine Feminine. Be careful of protecting yourself. Heal that wound where you feel you can lose something material and be broken forever. You can't lose your twin. You cannot. You might even want to right now. Maybe you're pissed off enough and you're like, I wish I could lose this twin. You can't. You can't. It's your soul. It's your soul. You can't lose it. So stop being so afraid. That's the first thing. Stop protecting yourself from this success, this manifestation that you want to have. Allow that judgment day, that salvation, and that rebirth of this lover's connection. Divine Masculine, work on your worthiness. And you're releasing your ego attachments. You're doing a really good job. You are doing the work. You're working. Divine Feminine, acknowledge that. Divine Masculine is working on the block. There it is inside of you, right? He's working on it. As he unblocks himself, you unblock yourself. It's a union and you are mirroring. All right, everybody. I hope you have a delicious day today. I will see you at noon, possibly on Instagram. This might be because of technical issues of one Sunday where we don't get to do that. I'll be so sad. But if everything works out, I should be on Instagram at 12 p.m. Pacific Coast Time, 3 p.m. Eastern Standard Time with Gray Strega. We will do a check-in. We do usually do 6 cards each, 3 head space, 3 heart space, and we take each side of the Divine Masculine and Divine Feminine. At the end, if you have personal questions, we usually have time for you to answer those. If we are not able to do that today, I will see if Grace Trigger wants to do it a different day this week, and I'll let you know. Otherwise, we should be back up and running next Sunday as planned. All right. Thank you so much, everyone. Have the loveliest day today.